DigitalTCO generally doesn't miss a trick. So let me show you what I mean. Let's just do an examination and let's make it a bit complicated. Patient attended today for an examination. They complained about some pain from the upper right quadrant. They're unsure of which tooth it is. It's a throbbing pain. It's constant, keeping them awake at night. 9 out of 10 severity. On exam, they're fitting well. The upper right quadrant is heavily restored. The BPE is 222/232, indicating generalised calculus with localised chronic periodontitis. In the upper right quadrant, we did electric pulp test on the upper right 6, upper right 7, upper right 5. The upper right 6 was negative. The upper right 7 was negative. The upper right 5 was positive. We took a periapical radiograph showing that there is deep restorations in all of those teeth just mentioned. However, there is extremely deep caries in the upper right 6 and the upper right 7. The diagnosis is no pathology was noted on the radiographs. The bone levels were good. The diagnosis is irreversible pulpitis, upper right 6 and the upper right 7. The caries risk is high. Periodontal risk is high. The patient smokes 15 a day and drinks 21 units a week. So their oral cancer risk is also high. Discuss with the patient that they have deep caries in these teeth, and by the time we clean it out, there's not a lot of tooth left. So we discussed no treatment, root canal treatment, or extraction. The patient would like to have the teeth extracted. Discuss with the patient that they will then have a space, and this space, it might be an idea to consider restoring it because you might get drifting or over eruption of other teeth. Discuss with the patient doing nothing, a denture, implants, or a bridge. The patient is interested in implants in the long run. Discuss with the patient, it'd probably be a good idea then to see about extracting the teeth and placing a space maintainer. And we have a cancellation later on today where we could extract the teeth to get the patient out of pain. The patient is happy to do so. So we booked an appointment for later on today where we will extract the teeth and then we'll provide a bit more discussion about the implant process, consultation, CT scan, etc. Patient is happy with that. Right, so there's an examination with a whole bunch of details. A whole bunch of details in it. Some people are concerned that it won't be able to pick up on all of those details. Well, let's have a look and see. It's extremely accurate. It will not miss out what you tell it. It's programmed that way. It's programmed to take your input as the utmost priority. So what have we got there? We've got pain from the upper right quadrant. We've got electric pulp testing. We've got a radiograph. We've got a BPE. We've got some risks involved. We've got a discussion about root canal treatments, extractions, and then we've got discussion about space options with over eruption, things like that as well. So I've given it quite a good hammering of details. And again, I've not had to speak very clearly. I've just spoken, mumbling in between, pauses with thinking in between. Okay. Patient presented with pain in the upper right quadrant, reporting throbbing pain of 9 out of 10 severity, constant and keeps up at night. It's got the smoking. It's got the deep caries noted. It's got the BPE with the diagnosis that I told it. Again, it's got that, OHI is good. It's got your radiographs with the radiograph report. Nothing about wear or occlusion because I didn't tell it. It's got the risks inputted in there. Observations, electric pulp test, negative with a positive test. Diagnosis, the treatment plan, discussed correctly. The discussion of the space maintainer. Extensive discussion regarding the severity of caries, consequences of extractions and future restorative option. The patient was knowledgeable about the high risk of caries, periodontal disease and oral cancer associated with their smoking and alcohol consumption. Appointments booked later for today. Upper right 6 and upper right 7 to manage pain, followed by further discussion on implant process, consultation and CT scan. Possible schedule for an H20. Please note that the patient's smoking and alcohol consumption updated in the social history. Right, okay, so there you go. Pretty good note. What did it not cover, right? Maybe it didn't specifically cover, and you could turn it into a letter for the patient. Maybe it didn't specifically cover the risks of having a tooth extracted and the things following after that. Okay, so now you've got an extra note you need to do. So you go to cheat mode and you say, explain the risks to a patient of extracting teeth and not restoring, such as drifting, over eruption of teeth, which could lead to occlusal changes and TMJ issues. Right. TMG. So I didn't get me there. So far in all this, I've changed one letter, right? I've just had to change one letter, and we'll let that do its thing again there. This is not dictation, right? It's not dictation. That's not what's happening here. You do dictate something, but it's not dictation. It's something new. I don't think it's got a name yet, to be honest. People think but it's not. So now you've got discuss potential risks and consequences of the patient regarding extraction of the teeth without pursuing restorative options after. Drifting or shifting, further over eruption of the teeth. Such over eruption can lead to all this stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Address the patient's concerns regarding these risks. So now you've got that. So that's now here. So now what I would do is I would take my basic exam, which is saved there. I would copy that. Notepad, just so you can see. I would paste that into my notes system, Exact, or whatever it is that you're using, Dentally, whatever the software is. Now I've got the Super Dentist cheat mode. I would just take probably that. Yeah, I'll just take the full thing. And then I'd go, okay, where did we be talking about all that? Discussion. Consequences of distraction. So I'd probably just put that, boom, in there. Now I've got a super comprehensive note of all the information, and I've changed one letter. It's covered everything. So even if it does miss out a little something like that, you still don't have to write anything anyway, because the cheat mode covers it. It blows my mind. We're about 4 years. I think we're about 4 years ahead of any other systems. And other systems are going to try and catch up with this, but by the time they catch up, we're going to be four more steps down the road. Right. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.